Welcome back to the Predictable Revenue Podcast. I'm your host, Colin Stewart. Today, I'm joined by Alexey Sapozhnikov, the founder and CEO over at Endeavor, and we're going to talk product market fit. Before we jump in, founders, let's be real. Scaling a company is tough. You're juggling product, revenue, hiring, and probably a million other things. And I bet you're probably even vibe coding some stuff at night as well. But what if you had some founders that had been there and done that before to help you along the way? That's what our founder coaching program does. If you're 0 to a million and trying to find your first customers or build your first sales team, give us a call. We're here for you. Welcome to the Predictable Revenue Podcast, where sales leaders teach you what's working for them so you can build it yourself. Alexey, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you for having me. Amazing to meet you.
It's great to meet you too. And thank you for coming on and sharing your story. I'm really looking forward to finding out more about Endeavor. Talk to me about where the idea came from.
Okay. Look, so Endeavor is basically not my first endeavor, not my first company. So before Endeavor, I actually did one venture as a bootstrap founder, two ventures as a VC-backed founder, and two exits in the domain of basically an intersection between AI and cybersecurity. So Endeavor is my fourth venture in the role. And the idea actually came from two separate, lines of thought. So the first one, in late 22, I actually realized that the whole world is going towards, AI development, generative AI development, analytical AI, agentic AI. And then soon models I wasn't sure if it will go public, but in the heart of the products, models will take a lot of place. So that was the first. The second thought was that basically many products that exist in security market, in IT market, are over-featured, are overpriced, and are overcomplicated. Basically, sometimes CIO or CISO need maybe a fraction of it, but he needs to pay for the whole product. And if he wants to use some kind of brand with reputation, so he need to buy a whole cow for a fraction of it and to pay for the whole cow, because the large company cannot split it into small pieces. So the first idea was, why not to create something that will provide a fractional pinpoint products in domain of cybersecurity and AI with affordable prices, and and will free the CXO to pay a lot of money for something that they're not using. So that was the initial idea.
Gotcha. And you bootstrapped before, you've done the VC route before. Which route did you choose this time around, and why?
The truth is not that one way is better than other. It very depends on what you want to build, which business you want to build. However, today, thanks to the development in AI world, in agentic AI world, the initial de-risking of the idea is very cheap. And if you have, relatively a modest amount of funds, you can do it yourself. And even if you want to, after to go to the VC path, you can arrive to much higher valuation because you already did a risking. Now that's the general truth. Regarding to myself, I decided that we will we have the opportunity to create here a really kind of bootstrap big story, bootstrap unicorn. That maybe will take a lot of time to arrive to there. Maybe it will less time, but there's a good possibility that we can do it like several other companies by going by bootstrap path.
I like that. I mean, I'm a bootstrapper. Probably should have raised for one of my companies, and that might have contributed to like us not making it. It was mostly we had an idiot CEO in charge. For those who are listening to the podcast, I'm pointing at myself, and the Like, so I probably should have raised, but I've never gone out and raised. And it's always an interesting kind of decision. And I'm a big fan of the idea that you want to match the finance strategy to like the strategy of the company. And it
Yeah.
seems
Yeah.
like the math is kind of changing. Whereas before on a big cybersecurity project, you'd have to have 10 engineers or 100, more engineers
Absolutely.
just building the thing. But it sounds like that you feel like that's changed for you recently.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And I can tell you that today, this team of, let's say, 3, 5, up to 10 people, you can do the throughput of what you are doing is basically equal to what you did in the past with the team of 50, of 60 people, because the single person can produce the amount of work, which is, if you are doing it right, which is tested, which is, tremendously bigger than he did before. So
Hmm.
that's a reality, and that's why the development of the product is probably not a barrier anymore. It's kind of something that a small company can compete with the big company.
Interesting. So if we focus on the
Yeah,
idea came from looking at the cybersecurity industry and seeing all of these
yeah,
overpriced, seeing all of this margin and going, There's an
yeah,
opportunity there." What
exactly.
came next? You see the opportunity. How did you go about testing it, figuring out that this was something that you wanted to put your time into?
Oh, Colin, that's a super critical question. I would say, that's exactly what I'm mentoring young entrepreneurs when they come to me. So if your hypothesis is very true and it's all painful, go get a customer. Go get someone who will sign. Who will say, you know what? Who will say, okay, let's do some kind of tests. And you will be surprised, but a lot of people, when they come to be an entrepreneur, when they come to be a founder, they don't like this process. They don't like to sit with the people they met first time, ask a question, try to maybe to interest them with the problem. So my way to approach it is that I am absolutely distinct between the kind of conversation which is validation conversation and the conversation which is the self conversation, which I'm doing or our SDRs are doing, but depends what's the level of the conversation. But the idea is that it's very important in the validation conversations to understand if the problem is real, if the person is really talking about, something that is hurting him and, he's ready to pay the money. So the way you are really clarifying the truth can be very sophisticated, like asking questions. Okay, so how much daytime you are working on this? Or if it's so, complicated and painful, why you didn't create something that is solving this, okay, and more questions like that. But eventually you need to decide if this direction is good or not, and the best validation is the paycheck.
I love that. And so when you were going about validating Endeavor, sorry, what did you like? How many of these conversations did you have? Was it before it kind of turned into that first check?
So we try to figure out the use cases that are really super critical for cybersecurity and for IT. And those use cases are basically, not solvable despite all the pains that exist. For some reasons, they are still there. And there's an opportunity for us. And that's what not a simple thing. So we actually found several use cases that, our website is actually everything which is sellable and have paid customers. We're putting in our website so you can see all the information. But that's kind of the use cases that we found that not exist as a single product. It's probably exist as a part of other, Godzilla offerings, and
Mhm.
people need to pay us a lot of money just to use this small piece. So we extracted this and put it, on the for the customers.
Interesting. And so this was a problem that was solved already, which normally, like I would say, don't go and solve a problem that's already been solved. But the opportunity you saw was that companies are paying a crazy amount of money for this huge suite when all they needed was this tiny piece. And you said, hey, I think
Exactly,
the opportunity here
exactly.
is to sell them this tiny piece.
That exactly is right. And in addition to it, I would like also to say some my personal observation. Look, when you are creating a Godzilla product, even if you have this feature, it's not full. It's like, it's still something missing this feature, because you need to concentrate on so many features, because you created a Godzilla, because you want to have a big ARR about this Godzilla. So even if it exists in some partial way, that there's always opportunity to take it as a single focus and really create it as a good product, small product with the affordable price, and to give it to the customer.
I love that. It sounds like that's the kind of piece that got you excited about this market opportunity. Speaking of paying for it, where did your first customer come from?
Okay, so the first customer actually came after we spoke to one of the validation leads actually in some personal meetings and some exhibition here in Tel Aviv. And the guy actually said, "Look, we need to we need this product. If it's ready, I want to buy it." That's what happens. Very simple. And I think the first
Interesting.
conversation was quite maybe 10 minutes. That's all.
Really? How many
Yeah.
conversations like that had you had before this guy said, "Hey, we"?
Ah, that's amazing. That's maybe over 20, that's for sure, but only about this. And in general, it's tons of conversations that you need to do until you're not feeling something real that you are watching.
Yeah, what changed for this one? Was it right place, right time, or you had kind of
Right,
got the idea?
not just it's all of it. It's like right place, right time. You got the idea, and also your language, your terms, your accent on the pen was right. So there is absolutely no way you can come to the person like this and engage him if you are not doing those validation conversations before. You must
Mm.
do it. You must to become an expert in this issue. It's still not enough. You need to see a global picture. You need to see what happens in other places, why this problem exists not on your environment, but also in other places, and what you can actually provide from this general 360 view.
I love that. And so you go 20 conversations, you're learning about the process, about what works,
Yeah,
about how to refine the pitch. On the
yeah,
20th or 21st one, you get your first one.
yeah.
Was it, pardon me, was it all downhill from there and you had finally found all the pieces to put together? Or like what came next?
What came next is that, first of all, we fine-tuned our pitch and our SDRs in places when they start to pitch the customer. So we got the funnel. So we starting to doing demos and all the rest. But the issue is that we actually continue to validate additional use cases and this use case. And in
Mhm.
some moment, we arrive to conclusion that the current product about this very first use case is not good enough, is not simple enough, is not designed well enough. And then we changed it. And once we changed it, and we changed it because we saw how the customers work it with initial version. So when we changed it, suddenly we saw like not a full hockey stick, but kind of hockey stick. There was people
Mhm.
understand, okay, so now I really see the value. It's very simple. The UI is exactly about what I need. And it's like a very simple tool that give me tons of value. So yeah,
What did the team look like at that point when you signed your first customer? Because I'm hearing you
yeah,
talk about SDRs. So
yeah.
did you have SDRs to help you book those 20 conversations?
No, no, in the first, no, in the
No.
first, the
Okay.
team is very tiny even today. So we are around 10 people in the board, and that's the normal amount today. We are relatively good in revenue per employee. But today with 4 people, you can build the empires. So yes, so who created the validation conversation? That's all. Today the situation is different because I can give to the SDR ready script, and the SDR is calling the people and doing this. But that's all. And we don't have a large R&D. We have the R&D of several people that are basically doing the work of, like I said before, of 50 people. And we have the customer support, and that's it. So that's what we have, and that's enough. and we are working with relatively big customers.
I love that.
That's
It's fun to, you read all the stories about AI is going to change things. And I've got my own startup where there's just two of us and we're doing, it feels like an incredible amount of work. It's fun to see folks that are just a little bit farther in front of us that have got to 10 employees and a whole bunch of customers, and to see that the trend will continue. Because I think that's kind of
yeah,
the question is like, it's
absolutely.
working for us at two. How big can we get with just two people? Right. I think that's the question that's been new for us this year, this time around with this startup. And so
Yeah,
I'm curious, as you go from finding that first customer,
yeah.
what changed to get to a point where you were regularly finding new customers?
I think the sources of the leads are the same. So the sources of the lead are the campaigns, and the outreach less, the campaign, the campaigns in LinkedIn, the Apollo campaign. So the sources are the same. The question, you know what? The question is not what are the technical tools that you arrive to the customer. The question is, if you arrive to the customer, what you can say to the customer. That's what you can say to the lead. Now, if
Hmm.
what you say is something that catch the situation, catch his real interest, real interest of this person, so you can send a pigeon with the piece of paper and you will sell. But if it's something that this guy doesn't need, so it's not important how much money you put into your marketing campaign or you put in the exhibition, he will not buy it. He will
Hmm.
not buy.
So what did the, like, when we think about like where your next customers came from
Yeah.
and like when it
Yeah.
started to feel repeatable, what did your
Yeah.
team look like? Was it still just you? Did you hire a bunch of SDR?
So we have a bunch of SDRs. We have, like I said, we have R&D people. We have the SDRs. We have the support people. The definitely current the growth is in SDR because I think that the current R&D and the current support can handle really big amount of customers, bigger than we have today. But I think that the main thing is to watch the changing market, to adapt the scripts that you are giving. And we have one of the things that we did, we created an advisory board that those people are helping us to see the things that we actually don't see ourselves. So to see the pitch, to see the changing needs in the market. Again, we are living in very changing, ecosystem, and that's all. I don't think that it should be kind of bigger. Again, we are working with relatively big organizations. We are now in negotiations with even bigger organizations, but that's all. That's all. When you are growing gradually, organically, and you are
Mhm.
arriving.
Has the growth started to feel predictable yet,
Yeah.
or is it still kind of lumpy? You feel like you got it figured out?
I think that Endeavor is behaving exactly as a bootstrap company should behave. Now, the difference between VC company and bootstrap company is very simple. Once you have VC company and you get the money to do something, so
Mhm.
typically you get some requests that you need to grow. Okay, you need to grow for a month because you have the very ambitious plans. So you need to bring a lot of people. So you're growing, like this, like you are going like this. Here you get the money, here you grow. Okay, and
Mhm.
and and then again you get the money, again you grow. Okay, so from, I don't know, from 10 people, so here you're going to 50, so here you're going to 150, and you are starting to execute. Now, all the successful bootstrap companies that I know, they're quite an opposite. First of all, it takes much longer. It can take, several years, longer than the VC. Then the growth is much more steady. So you need to see what's the base of your customers, how you can rely on this base, and only based on this, you're hiring people. From other hand, you are almost not see the things when a bootstrap company suddenly fire a percentage of the employees, because that's not exist, because in the moment some cash flow going down, booster company is firing on the spot. They are not waiting until some board decision when, I don't know, 20% or 50% of the company is going poor. So
Mhm.
that's something much, much more native and much more simple to operate and to deal with.
Talk to me about that moment you realized that you might have product market fit.
So I don't think we still have product market fit because
Mm,
product market fit means like, I don't know, it's kind of, I don't know how to find. Maybe product market fit, if I will take AWS as an example, they have product market fit, but
mm,
now they need to be compatible to keep this product market fit. So they are staying, they're almost not running any campaign. People are coming, everything is inbound. People are coming, opening accounts, meaning the environment. That's maybe a product market fit. With Endeavor, we are still need to educate the market. We need to talk about what we are doing, what's our advantages. What I think we have the understanding who is our current ICP. We have the understanding what's the needs of this ICP. And I believe that if our people are meeting some ICP with the budget and with the needs, this person should buy because we are really simplifying their lives. Always this offer, always other offer, but something we can solve. So the person
mhm.
who is looking to simplify their life can find something very affordable in that one. Let's put it this. It's still, it's still. I will not rush to call it a full product market fit. I saw some startup that closed to shut down, and they were received back, and the founder is writing, in postmortem. Of course, I will not mention the name. Oh, it's very bad that we shut down because we found a product market fit. So I say, okay, so if you found a product market fit, why do you shut down? Whereas all those tons of customers that are running to buy. That's very simple. So the people
Yeah.
are not always understanding what's the product market.
I strongly agree with you there too. And I think that, asked it in a funny way, but I think a lot of people think about product market fit as binary. It's either a 0 or a 1. You have it or you don't have it. I don't think it lives in the zeros
Yeah,
and ones. I think it's a strength thing. It's on a
yeah,
spectrum of, weak product
mhm,
market fit to extremely
yeah,
strong product market fit. When I was selling
mhm,
my first product, Voltage, I had one customer and we had 150 sales leads that I had worked.
mhm,
I had 150
mhm.
meetings and I closed one of them. That's very, very poor product market fit.
Wow.
Yeah. When we
Yeah,
pivoted, good, nobody wanted
yeah.
it. We just had a product that nobody cared about. And when we
Mhm,
pivoted and started listening to people and said, hey, what do you want? Oh, okay, we could work
mhm,
on that. And when we started doing the
mhm,
sales calls for that, I had 5
mhm,
meetings and it turned into 7
mhm.
customers.
That's
And I was like,
amazing. That's
it's the
you know
definition
what
of
that
strong product market fit. When you think about strength of product market fit and kind of where you are
yeah.
on that continuum, how do you like where was that first moment where you started to think, okay, I think we have something, I have confidence enough in the model that we are going to make some more forward-looking investments?
That's a super great question. Why? Because like every bootstrap founder, I'm in a position when I need to put my own money in the game from very beginning. Okay. So, when you need to put your own funds in the story, you are behaving slightly different when you took some VC money, you're doing some,
Mhm.
some exercises. Here you are very, very truthful with yourself. So when I started to understand that the problems we are talking about are the real problems and they are not coming from us, but they are repeatedly coming from the leads. And we see that those things are really something that people are trying to solve, maybe successfully, maybe not successfully. That gave me the strength to continue to invest and continue to put, trust me, significant amount of money to continue because I knew that eventually we're going to. Actually, the best way to see the traction is that the person said, look, we are not buying your product because we did it ourselves. Now, that's the best signal because what happens? It was very, very strong pain that he put
Mhm.
his own team, his own funds to solve this. Now he did it, but the next one will not.
That's a really interesting question because I think as startups, we're going to face the build versus buy equation is changing, right? It's so
Yeah.
much easier. Just like it's easier for you to have your devs, act like a 50-person team. That same thing is true in a large company. Now, not every large company is going to have the appetite for a homegrown solution. And so I'm curious, are you seeing the build versus buy conversation pop up more frequently?
Yes. And if I don't know if you have the chance to see my profile, but very recently I published a post about this. Because what I see, and I will really say some not nice things here, but that's something that I really believe in. Very often we see the following situation. The software engineers or the security engineers are coming to CISO or CIO in the company and say, look, Johnny, why you need to buy this vendor? Let's do it in-house. Let's put some 2 minutes in the agents. Let's open some, I don't know, cursor or something like that, and let's write it out. Now, the true reason why people are doing this is because they want to upgrade their CVs. They want to write in their CVs that they are the AI developers, the AI thing. Just understand, they brought the guy whose job duty was, to sit on the solutions around vulnerabilities, and now he's an AI programmer. So it's a jump. So CIOs, those CISOs who actually agree to it, in fast forward of 4 or 5 months, found themselves in following situation. They are sitting amongst, like, say, 80 agents, which are mimicking, making a parody of normal solutions like CrowdStrike, like Checkpoint, maybe as Endeavor. Okay. But those agents are very weak. They are without any support and they need to be supported. They don't have, the additional use cases that the Checkpoint and CrowdStrike and Endeavor see outside. And then the CIO and the software engineers, meanwhile, upgraded the CV, say goodbye and going to the competitor to work as an AI, I don't know what, AI programmer. And then the CIO understand that he transformed his IT department to be an R&D of mimicking solution to the vendor. And it's just not a cost effective, it's cost failure, because he needs actually to put much more funds to maintain this and to actually transform it to be something really workable.
I mean, I think that's the ultimate vote in favor of going with a company versus going with an internal solution. Is the question you ask is, what kind of resources are you willing to dedicate long term to supporting and continuing to develop it? Because anybody can go 0 to 1. AI engineering has made that so much faster, but are they going to be able to match your commitment and your focus to, like, dedication to solving the problem and improving the problem and supporting it as everything evolves? And like,
Absolutely.
that's going to be that probably isn't going to be in, for most companies aren't going to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why you need a vendors like Endeavor to prevent from this stuff. By the way, if you are buying a modern solution, every modern solution should give you the opportunity to be configured with your own orders, prompts, and things like that. So if you really want to customize it, you can customize it. But the whole flow should not be on your shoulders, should be on the shoulders of vendor.
I love that. Lexi, I really have appreciated the chance to get to know you a bit and learn from you. I'm curious what comes next for you and for Endeavor.
So I believe, after 2 years of running, the first year was like a preparation R&D, 2 years of running with the customer. Now, when we are a partners of NVIDIA in Israel, when we are an ecosystem partner of Google, I believe that we are now offering solutions for much larger customers than we did before. And I think we are ready to compete with really large organizations in the market. We are ready to offer much more affordable offers, much more affordable products, which are much more advanced and much more pinpoint for the today modern pain points.
I love that. If people are curious about Endeavor, they want to see that article that you posted, what's the best place for them to take a look?
They can go to endeavor.io. They can go directly to my LinkedIn. They can, they have some tons of emails in the page. I'm very reachable. So me or my people, we will be glad to talk and glad to address any issue.
Amazing. I'll grab a link to your LinkedIn and your, and we'll find that article. We'll throw it in the show notes here for anybody who's Alexey, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Amazing conversation.
Absolutely. I agree. And thanks to everybody for listening. We'll catch y'all next time.